Hi, I'm Shonda Ramsey, your host and fellow indie author. Are you overwhelmed at the thought of publishing your book by yourself? Has fear kept you frozen in place, unable to write even the first word of your book? Not knowing the steps you need to take shouldn't stop you from writing. That's why I've asked for help from some amazing industry professionals, published authors, and others who are in the same situation as you to share their knowledge on the self-publishing process. Welcome to Dear Indie Author, where we inspire creative independence in every writer. Hey everyone, it's Shonda. Welcome back to the Dear Indie Author podcast. I am here with my friend Jamie. Hey Jamie, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I am good, thank you. I wanted to let everyone know before we get started that this episode is a unique episode in that we are just going to have more of a casual conversation about what we worked on in September. We are going to kind of take you on this journey with us for what we are doing this fall, and we will check back in with you again in October and November as well. So, with that being said, before we get started, Jamie, I would love to do some rapid fire icebreaker questions. It's kind of the thing we do here. Would you be ready to start with some of those?
Sure, hit me with it.
All right. Are you a plotter or a pantser?
Um, I would say I'm kind of a combination of both because I like to map out some basic points for each chapter that I want to make sure occur in each chapter. But outside of that, I kind of just write and let it flow. Um, so yeah, I'd say a little bit of both.
Love that. What is your favorite writing spot?
Um, I don't know that I have one, honestly, because I, I write at this desk a lot, but I also work at this desk. So sometimes I end up writing in my bed. Sometimes I end up writing on the couch. Sometimes I take it on the go with me and write. So I don't know that I have a favorite one, but anywhere, anywhere
Anywhere.
creativity strikes.
Yeah. What is your favorite genre?
So I am an avid reader and I read a lot of romance. So that tends to be what I also like to write as well. I do like a little bit of mystery too. So sometimes I throw that in if I can.
Yeah, love that. What is the best writing advice you have ever received?
Um, I don't know that I've necessarily received the advice, but my advice to people is to just keep writing. Um, you may have a day where everything you write is crap, but there might come some inspiration from that. And, that might be the thing that gets you through the next week of writing. So, even if it's not the best thing, just keep going until it strikes something.
Yeah, I like that. Just keep writing. What is your favorite book of all time?
Ooh, that is a really tough one.
I know, I picked
Um,
it on purpose just for you.
I have so many that I reread too. So yeah, it's a really tough one. I am a big fan of another Ohio writer. Her name is Jessica Lemon, and she has a series that is um, I'm terrible because I'm having a blank on what the series is called, but the boys in the series are all last name Crane, and I really love all three of the books in that series. And then she's had a couple of like a mini novel that came out about that family again, and she just recently released something else that I haven't read yet. I'm sorry, Jessica, but I love that series. And one of the other ones that I love is it's called British Bedmate, and it's by um, Penelope Ward and by Keeland. Anything by them is just magical. They always have this way of creating such a serendipity with their stories.
Hmm.
But that one I really like because it's very funny. And of course, the guy is British, so who doesn't love hearing a British accent when they're listening to an Audible?
Right.
So yeah, probably those two would be kind of my top ranking ones. They're the ones I've listened to and reread multiple times for
Yeah.
sure. Um, yeah.
Nice. I like that. What would your pick be? Something salty or something sweet?
Um, it depends on my mood, honestly. More than salty or sweet, I like the funny. I like the um like where they just have that back and forth chemistry together where they're, you know, like they build off of each other, like their conversation just builds off of each other. And I think that's really magical in any relationship. So I tend to appreciate that
Yeah.
more than the salty or the sweet.
Makes sense. That makes sense. What is your favorite writing snack?
Um, so this is really funny. I don't really snack when I write at all.
Not at
Like
all. Not
not
even
at
when you get
all.
stuck.
No,
Wow.
no. Like usually when I get stuck, I put it away because if I don't, then I get frustrated.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm not much of a snacker when I write, honestly. You'd be surprised, I suppose, but yeah, I'm really not. Snacks in general wise, if anybody's looking for good ones, um, I this is going to sound like such a bad snack, but um, they have these Hawaiian rolls that are low carb, and I take those and I spread Nutella on them
Mm.
and just eat those.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
It sounds like it. It's almost like a peanut butter and jelly, but not a peanut butter and jelly,
Hmm.
right? Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. That would
Yep.
be a good sweet snack.
Yep.
Um, do you like coffee or tea?
Um, so I'm not a daily drinker of either, but I like both.
Mm.
Um, I would say probably more often do I have tea than coffee. Um, and I'm really obsessed with uh, chai tea. I found this concentrate mix that you can put in a kettle or in the microwave and warm up. And then I throw a protein shake in it for
Hmm.
instead of a creamer, and it's fantastic.
Sounds good, actually. It sounds really good.
It is really good.
All right, so I'm
And it's
gonna make
nice
you,
flavor for the fall too.
yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
gonna make you pick between fiction or nonfiction.
Fiction 1000%.
I kind of knew that was
No
gonna be the
brainer.
answer, but I know
Brainer.
you. So here's another hard one.
Uh-huh.
Which one of these do you like the best, we'll say? Character development or world building?
Mm. I would say I spend more time developing the characters than I do the world building. Um, so I would say I probably enjoy that more because I spend the time on it.
Hmm.
Um, to me, a lot of stories can occur without the world being a specific way. So to me, like the character is what's going to sell or destroy the story. So I
Hmm.
tend to lean towards character.
I like that as an answer. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way, but you're absolutely right. Who is your favorite author?
Like I said before, I really like Jessica Lemon. I really like Mike Keeland and Penelope Ward, especially when they do books together. And gee, who else do I like? There's so many.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, those I would say are probably my top ones. Those three.
Those
But
three.
I like a little bit of everything. So
What is one word to describe your writing style?
um, incomplete.
We're gonna fix that.
I'm trying to fix that, but I don't know that I can summarize it in one word, but I, I try to go for funny, I guess.
Hmm.
Funny can be the one word.
Yeah. And it is funny. I've read some of your writings, so yeah, I
Yeah.
would say that was good. We're going to change your incomplete though. We're going to complete it this year.
You like that answer?
I did. I did. So before we get into the next question, I just have to preface by saying I have known you for a very long time. We're talking multiple centuries at this point, right? So,
Yeah, at least 54 centuries, at least.
right. Feels like 54. We go way back and we write
Yeah,
together and we do all the fun things together. And so, I think this was a lot of fun. And I love that I get to share you with my audience a little bit too and let them get to meet you as well. So, with that being said, would you tell us just a little bit about yourself?
sure. So I write under the pen name Lynn Million. I do have a website out there. There's not a whole lot to it at this point because I'm still working on all of my projects, unfortunately or fortunately, whichever you prefer to think of that as. The current project that I'm focused on is a series that I am calling The Devils of New York. And each of the books has devil in the title. The first book, which is the one I was working on for NaNoWriMo last year, is called Speak of the Devil, and it has kind of a second chance romance going on. There's a little bit of a mystery going on in it. There's some laughs in it. I, I, it's funny. I thought of these characters as a side character situation for book two that's in this series, and I didn't realize that I would fall so in love with them and their story until I started writing it.
Mhm.
Um, and I honestly think I love them more than the book I originally started the series with, which is getting a revamp this fall. Um, it was my first Nano Project book two of the series, which is called The Devil You Know. Um, I had some major timeline issues, which was something fun I learned by doing Nano in the first
Mhm.
place.
Yeah.
Uh, because I was so focused on getting the word count, I didn't think about how the timeline affects a certain component of the story. Um, so yeah, I need to rework that one, and I decided to tackle that again this fall to try to get it up to the same snuff that book one is, because I think there's a lot of potential for a great story there. Um, and then I've already kind of got the ideas for book three and four of that series, which will be the final book of that series. So I've got a lot of work ahead of me.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, and I've got an entirely different series that I also have a lot of plans for that has been on the back burner for a long time. And someday I hope to get back to it because those characters are the ones I'm most excited to write about, which you probably ask, why aren't you writing them right now? Well, you know, something's got to give. So the bills got to get paid. Jamie's got to work. So,
That's how it works. There's
um,
only so much time in your day. We get it.
right, right. Um, but yeah, so in terms of writing, that's kind of where I am. As a normal person, I am a supervisor in my real job. Um, I've worked for the same company for 20 years, and I enjoy it there. It's been a lot of fun. There's a lot of great people I've met. Shonda. Um,
I was gonna say that's where we started
yes, yes.
was there. We both
Um,
worked there.
yeah, so that's actually how we met. And yeah, so I don't know, it's been a good place for me. Um, and home wise, I have a dog, a cat, and a turtle. All female, so it's an all girl house, girl power. Well, except for the cat, he's a boy.
Yeah.
Um, and he shows it very much. He actually turned off my computer as we were trying to get started here, so we had to restart and all that fun stuff. So
He's the
he's
boss.
special, but he's mine and I love him. So anyway. But yeah, that's I think most of what you need to know about me, I guess. I
Yeah.
don't know if there's anything else I should add.
No, I think that's good. Let me ask you this. Why are you interested in writing?
Um, for the longest time, I never had any intention of publishing. And I think that's something that came with with you and I getting into it again and age too, because I've enjoyed writing since elementary school.
Hmm.
I I wasn't always a good storyteller in elementary school, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Um, but I always enjoyed it, and one of the things I think that really um, was exciting for me as a kid is our first grade teacher would make these booklets using scrap wallpaper as
Hmm.
the cover, and you could take a Sharpie and write your title on it, and it had little booklet pages, and you wrote your story in it. And there was just something so exciting about having that printed thing that was yours and you created it. And I don't know, that was just magic. It was magic.
Hmm.
Um, so, you know, I see all these people that write and they put their work out there, and to me it's one of the bravest things you can do because it's a piece of your soul.
Yeah.
Um, and as I get older, um, I think I'm more ready to allow that piece out into the world. um, because it's really scary. I mean, you know that from
Yeah.
publishing your own.
Yeah.
It's a really scary thing to put that little baby piece of yourself out in the world and let it be critiqued by people, and either they love it or they don't. And that's, I don't know. It's hard, but I think it's something I want to do.
It's definitely something you should do because I have read what you have written. So I read your piece last year and
Hmm.
I could see the growth from the year prior to last year just in you as a writer.
Right.
And I got really excited because that book is everything. It's so good. Like, I didn't realize I'm a romance reader, and I didn't realize that, I should say I'm a romance reader and I'm a mystery reader, two separate things.
Hmm.
But I've never read a mystery
A
romance
mystery around.
before until I read your book. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
why have I never read that before? It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so good. So I can't wait to see you get this series done because your characters are really amazing. You're really good at developing them and really sharing their story. And I like all of it.
Well, thanks.
I like all of it. I think the world definitely will like it too. So I'm
Right.
glad that you're sticking with it, and that you're
Yeah.
doing it in your timeline. I think that
Hmm.
that's important too. So you kind of mentioned that this fall you're going to be picking back up that first one that you wrote. So that would have been, was that 2022 or 2023? What year is
We're in
this?
2024, so it would have been the 2022. Yes.
2022. Okay. My
Yeah.
years all run
Um,
together.
which actually works out great because in book two it starts out at Halloween, and we're going to be ramping up our November to New Year right after
Yep.
Halloween. So I'll be in the spirit again and
Yeah, it'll be good
ready
timing.
ready to ready to roll.
Well, and you said something that I actually thought about too. So that year, 2022, was the first year that we attempted to do NaNoWriMo, and it was
Yeah,
so stressful.
it really was. I mean, it was fantastic. I was so excited to do it,
Yeah,
but
it,
yeah, I
it
mean,
was hard.
the putting 50,000 words to something in a month when you haven't written in years is a big challenge.
Very
But
big.
it was a really good challenge, though, I think, for both of us because
Yeah.
it kind of got us excited about writing again, even though we kind of, played around with that a little bit more. I think that kind of made it more of a forefront topic for both of us.
Yes, for sure. It did. And I think we both learned who we are as a writer during that
Hmm.
one and what works and what absolutely does not work for us
Right, right. We
during
both
that.
found out we're not 100% pantsers, that's for sure.
Yeah, we really thought for sure we would be. And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, we're not, that surprised me about myself. I don't know if that did for
It
you.
honestly surprised me too because when I wrote when I was young, that's exactly what I did. Like I didn't blot out anything. I
Yeah.
just kept writing like every day. I wrote every day.
Yeah, same, same. And I realized during that challenge. So, what happened to me in my book during that challenge is I wrote a romance book that lacked romance because I didn't plot that out. And
Right.
so, while I tried to show that, there's holes in that whole
Yeah.
story because I didn't plot it out. And so, that's a
Yeah.
rework that I need to do.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you probably discovered some things,
I really did. Yeah. And honestly, I started, kind of remapping this book and I think I found some places to maybe even put a little bit of mystery in there to make it kind of coincide a little bit with the first book in terms of that. Um, so I'm only to about chapter 8 in my pre-blocking, but
Mhm.
I think there's some opportunity there to throw a little mystery in. So
Yay, that makes me
we'll see.
happy. I'm excited about that because when you did that for your other book, it took me by surprise, but it was such
Mhm.
a good surprise because usually I can figure it out and
Right,
I
right.
couldn't figure it out. I was like, why can't I figure this out? I can normally
Yeah,
figure it out. So the way that you wrote it, it left enough mystery that
yeah,
it kept me I wanted more.
right.
But it wasn't like so way far out there that I couldn't figure things out. You still gave me enough to keep me in there too,
Mhm.
which was really good. And I feel like that's hard to do. So that's
It is hard to do.
yeah.
It is hard to do, but it's fun too. It's a nice mental challenge for me because you almost have to work the case backwards and kind of figure out what pieces to hide from the reader so that they don't uncover the mystery immediately.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
I like that.
yeah.
I like that. So let's chat about our September and what our
Mhm.
high hopes for September was. Um, we'll go first with what we did well in September,
Okay.
and then we'll talk about what our epic failures were.
Okay.
Just because I know we have them.
Mm, yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you want to
Okay.
start with what we challenged ourselves to do this September?
Let's see. So we worked on our Pinterest boards
Hmm.
to kind of get some thoughts together.
Yep.
Um, we worked on outlines,
Sort
right?
of loose
Sort of
outline. So
loose outline. Yeah.
yeah, we worked on point A to point B without
Hmm.
details.
Right. Right. I feel like there was a third thing, but I forget what it is now.
Character development.
Oh
That
yeah,
was the
character
biggie.
development. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we did our playlist also.
Oh yeah, yeah,
which I kind of group that in with Pinterest. So I call that
yeah.
setting the story foundation. We pretty much we set out to set the story foundation the best that we could
Hmm.
because now that we're in October, right, our next challenge is to outline literally the whole book. So then that way, when we sit down on November 1st to write for November to New Year, and just in case someone is new here today and this is the first time you're hearing what November to New Year is, it is a writing workshop that we're doing where we started it October 1st to focus on plotting. And then in November, we're going to focus on writing our manuscript as well as December. So we're going to write from November 1 to December 31st with the intention and hope of having a completed rough draft by the end of the year. Of course, it's going to be messy. We're not going to self edit, right, Jamie?
Maybe.
We're not going to self edit. We're going to really push ourselves to write that messy, rough draft the best that we can, from November to the end of the year. So then that way we can start the new year in our editing process, our self edits as we call it, and then, share it with other people and move it forward that way. So I think that's something that we learned we needed to do, right? Um,
Yeah.
so for setting the foundation, what was your big win in September? What did you get
Uh,
done and how did you feel about it?
so when I started out September, my plan was to write book three of the series. So I I was able to work on the Pinterest board for that book a little bit. Um, you and I talked out some of the sticking points I had with what I was conceptualizing for the book.
Yeah.
So that was helpful. Um, I've had a playlist for that one for a while, so that was already done. Um, I think that was about it for that one, and then I kind of switcheroonied it towards the end of the the month, and um, I went back through book two's um, stuff that I'd put together in 2022 just to kind of refresh myself. And then I kind of started remapping the book. So, like
Mhm.
I said, I got to about chapter eight, just remapping things in
Yeah.
in the way that I missed. But that's about where I am.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
So for me, I struggled with picking. I always do this. I struggled with picking which book I wanted to do. So, like you, I'm working on a series. I have an idea for three books within the series. In 2022, I wrote a book that I thought was going to be book one. And then we kind of played around even before that with writing, where I have some starts for another book, which I thought was going to be book two.
Hmm.
And then I had this idea for book three, or what I thought was going to be book three, that I abandoned twice because I wasn't ready to write it.
Yeah.
And then discovered in early September that book three needed to be book one.
Yeah.
So then that messed me all up. So I decided that I can no longer abandon this book, that I need to move it to the front of the line because it makes the most sense there. And I think that might be really why I abandoned it so much because it wasn't making sense. The way that I
Mm.
had it, it seemed like it just wasn't fitting in with the rest, of the story. And so my series is called Road Trip to Romance. And basically everybody takes road trips, right? I mean, pretty much in the series title.
Yep.
Um, so it's really a lot of fun. One of the main characters in every book starts from Ohio. They're all, a resident of Ohio. And so that's pretty neat because that ties in me and my geographic area. And then where I I guess excelled in September, or where I had wins, was I finally did a Pinterest board
Yay.
for the book. I mean, sometimes I do them and sometimes I don't. Like, I don't do as much as probably what I should do, but it actually uncovered some things for me in these characters because I think part of the problem was they just weren't speaking to me yet. And so that helped me kind of start to get a feel for who they are and how they're going to be together, their dynamic. And so that was helpful. You and I talked through some stuff. I think it changed like 10 times.
I'm good for that.
Yeah.
There
Um,
are too many ideas out there, and you're like, wait, I like all of them.
yeah, I had to really make my thing is I always want it to be relatable because I feel like one thing that romance does is they're really good at fairy tale and not really relatable. And so I really like the small, cozy, small town feel that you can relate to the person in the book. And so that's what I want to write is something that, is relatable, maybe with a little element of that fantasy in there, but
Yeah.
still have something that's sort of relatable. So I think that was a big one was just at least figuring it out. I also took a vacation the end of August, beginning of September to the location that this book is loosely written after. We'll say it's not identical. It's got, a pretty hefty influence from the location, but it's going to be a location on its own. So it's got its own name and everything else, as far as that goes. So
Yeah.
I guess that was my win. My epic failure was character development.
I don't know that that's epic.
Oh, well, I have him figured out, but she is still a mystery. So
Yep.
it's coming to me slowly. But
Yeah.
she's a mystery for sure. So I I feel like I didn't set my story foundation as much as I would have liked to in September.
Hmm.
That's how I am leaving September. But we're just now what in the first full week of
Yeah.
October, and I with November to New Year, we had to plot the first quarter of our books by today, I think is the last day, right? Monday. Today's
Well,
Monday. So yeah.
yeah.
Um so this episode's coming out a week from today. But our deadline was today to outline up to a quarter of our book, and I
Yeah.
finished that yesterday. So for me, that was a big win.
Yeah.
And there's romance in it, Jamie.
Woohoo.
I was so proud of myself. Hi, you learn, right?
I- you got to.
Well, tell us what is on your agenda for October. What do you hope to accomplish in October?
So in October, I would love to finish plotting out the chapters. Um, I feel like the character part for her at least is there. I may need to make some tweaks for him. Um, but I think I know where I want the story to go this time. I more so than I did in 2022.
Yeah.
Um, and I need to um I would like to in October also try to finish book one's rough draft, so that I can go
Oh.
into November with one rough draft complete.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, see where that takes me.
That's exciting, actually.
I don't know if I'll get it all done, but we'll see.
Well, so now on my October list is to read the rest of your rough draft of book one because I'm
And
patiently waiting
I
for the
know,
remainder.
I know. I think there's I think I have about four more chapters to write, maybe
Yeah,
five.
you're close. You're close,
Yeah,
but I still don't
yeah,
know the answer and I need the answer.
yeah.
I have my suspicions, but
Oh yeah?
we don't
You'll
know
have to
yet.
tell me. You'll have to tell me off air.
Well, I'm not going to tell you until I read the final to see if I'm right, because I don't want to
No,
sway it.
you have to write it in an envelope and seal it up and give it to Mike.
Okay, I can do that. I'll do that. I'll date it too, just so you know. I might go back and read it again just to make sure that it is what I'm thinking. But
Okay.
yeah, yeah. I'm curious. I think it'll be great
Yeah,
to see the end of that one. So that's really good. I'm excited for you because
yeah,
that's a lot, but I know you can do it. And
yeah,
I'm excited that you're focusing on that.
yeah. I think it'll be good to get that one kind of buttoned up a little bit because um, the prologue of book two kind of picks up a little bit of the um, at the end of the book one. So um, so yeah, it kind of needs to be done so that the other happen.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But but yeah, so hopefully that I can get done um and then I can put my whole focus into book two.
Hmm. I like that. That's great. For me, I think what my big focus is on is the plotting of book one, since I'm now bumping that one up to book one. Um, and then I need to finish developing my main character because there's something missing. And actually, I'm really hoping I can do that this week a little bit
Yeah.
just to try to get her figured out because I noticed when I was plotting the first quarter of the book, I was struggling a little bit since I've not quite figured her out yet. So I need to really figure her out. I might be making her too complex, and so I think I need to simplify some things. It happens.
It does happen.
Well, I made her a creative.
Oh,
And
yeah. Yeah.
I also made her kind of like a organized creative, which I don't think exists. So I think I need to figure her out just a little bit more.
Gotcha.
But yeah, she's like she's not most creatives are pretty fluid and she's a little too
Hmm.
rigid, I think sometimes. So I need to
Yeah.
find her personality. But I think it's starting to slowly come. So that's my goal there. And then I would love to speed through and get the plotting done like the first half of October. And
Hmm.
if I could do that, then I want to replot book two that I've already started just to kind of see where it goes from there because the
Yeah.
characters from book two are introduced in book one. And so
Right.
I
What
want
they,
to see, yeah, where they're headed. I mean, even some of the characters in book three are introduced in book one slightly, just slight mention, just a little bit.
yeah. Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that I've got everything figured out so that it makes sense across the
Hmm.
board. So,
Yeah, that makes total sense.
but I'm not writing two manuscripts. I'm just doing one.
What, you don't want to do the crazy rip off the band-aid right two at once thing? I mean, it could be fun.
No way. I'll do because this one I don't have anything for.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm starting from scratch with nothing.
Hmm.
And so that's a little harder and I think that I'm going to struggle with it a little bit. I mean, I don't know, it could flow
For
through.
sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
last year I wrote my whole book in November and
Yeah.
it's like 75,000 words. So it's doable.
Yeah.
It is
It
doable.
is doable. Yeah.
It's hard.
Very hard.
But it's doable. So,
Yeah.
it could happen. It could happen. We could end up with two. We'll see.
Never know.
My goal's one, though.
Yes. My goal is only one as well.
Gotta have some for next year.
Right.
I know you really want to read it, though.
I want to read all of them, so there.
I know. I'm kind of mean. I don't share yet.
I know. She's like, share your stuff. And I'm like, you share yours.
Maybe this time I will.
You better.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what else do you want to share about what you're doing this fall?
Oh my goodness. I don't know. Just writing.
Just writing.
Eh,
Makes sense. All right. Well, I think that this has been a really good chat, and hopefully it will help someone who is trying to decide how long it takes to do certain things in order to, prep for writing, and also give you hope that even if you give up, you can always pick it back up and finish it another day. I think
yeah.
it's important to remember that the timeline is yours and yours alone. That's the beauty of being an indie author is you're in control of when and how you do things for your book. Obviously, if you're with a traditional publisher, you've got deadlines, which makes it a little bit more difficult. But when you try to do something like hit 50,000 words in a month, that helps prepare you for the traditional publishers in the event that you would get in with one because they will give you deadlines that you will need to hit.
Hmm.
So if you want to test to see if you are able to, do that, that's a good challenge. Set yourself a goal to hit a certain word count and see what you can do. Just see where you land by the end of the month. I think that that would be great. There's still time to write from November to New Year if you are wanting to write. Even if you've not plotted yet, you can still do so now. Just start today. All right.
Or just be a pantser.
Or just be a pantser and just try it. You can see, I mean, we did it our first year. The worst that would happen is you'll have to rework the whole thing like we are going to. It is what it is. Learn from our mistakes or,
Yeah,
make your own. I think that that's the beauty of doing it this way. Well,
for
thank you,
sure. Of
Jamie, for joining me. I appreciate
course.
you coming on here and chatting with me about this. And let's make October a great month. Thanks for listening. I'm your host, Shonda Ramsey. For the show notes and links, head over to shondaramsey.com and don't forget to join in on the conversations on Facebook. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a show and write a review where you listen to podcasts. Until next time, always remember, every writer deserves to see their words in print.